mentor is someone who has more experience than you do in the area that you're ministering in and has something that they can share in helping you to develop into a good, wise pastor.
I think I would define mentoring as just being a sounding board.
For me, a mentor would be someone who is a role model, someone you can look up to.
I think a mentor for me is someone who is walking the path, walking the journey with someone, but somebody who's been down the path before.
Well, a mentor to me is someone who a newly ordained priest can turn to when they have questions about parish life.
Mentoring, I suppose in its simplest understanding, is to be a companion for someone, to walk with someone on their journey.
Do you want each of your new priests and pastors to have a priest mentor to rely on for support and advice, but don't know where to begin? Saint Meinrad's Institute for Priests and Presbyterates offers a training program for diocesan mentors, either in your diocese or on the Saint Meinrad campus. Our goal is to provide interdiocesan support for priests in ministry, especially in their first 5 years. Mentor training is a critical part of that support. We can equip mentors with the skills to competently and compassionately guide new priests and pastors in their ministry.
The role of the Institute for Priests and Presbyterate, especially the mentoring program, is to help that new pastor to really move into that parish and to learn how to relate to the different people that are become very important to support him and to serve his people.
The mentoring program is important, I think, especially today, because there's so many demands placed on a priest, there's so many expectations placed on a priest. The ministry of the priesthood has changed over the years. There are fewer of us to do the ministry and the work of the church.
You graduate, you're ordained, you start a new job, and often that support that you had while in school will suddenly kind of go to the wayside. You may have contact, but it's not as present.
There are things that the seminary just can't prepare you for, things that you just have to experience. And it's been great to have a mentor who I can talk to about those experiences.
IPP, or the Institute for Priests and Presbyterates, gives some support to stabilize some of those transitions that are taking place.
Having the opportunity to meet with someone who has the experience is a great way of learning what it means to be a pastor and having a person that you can bounce ideas off of.
We went through 2 days of training to be mentors, and that was very helpful in preparing to introduce the mentoring program to our archdiocese. And we gained confidence, and we were able to ask questions, and we were able to be more prepared to help guide a younger priest who would be assigned to them as a mentor for a 2-year period.
You know how things go. We know how, I mean, we've been around the block enough to know that
what we're talking about here with the mentor training program is we're being more intentional about it, which I think is a really great thing, because it helps the time that the mentor and the mentee spend together to be more effective and to be more useful.
It was good for us to go through the training to realize what newly ordained priests are experiencing today. It helped prepare us for the experiences that we would have.
The mentor is serving as a guide, as a role model, as a teacher, as a sponsor to this person who's new in the priesthood and helping him walk that path.
The first skill of a good mentor is being able to listen and knowing what is really going on in a person's life and their ministry. And the second is being willing and able to share from their own experiences and their own wisdom.
My mentor really helped me by his example in seeing how he saw himself more as truly a father rather than simply an administrator. But also my mentor showed me the importance of being organized and recognizing that the church needs to have a plan so that it can be successful in carrying on the mission of Christ.
Looking at Father Ron gives me a good identity or understanding of what a priest, who he is and what he should be doing. And he simply does that by modeling it, by living out his vocation in priesthood.
I think it's especially important the young priests have mentors today, simply because most of them are becoming pastors much quicker than in my day.
It can be very challenging. You're trying to adjust to yourself as being a priest first and what all those responsibilities are, and looking for that support.
For me, the most beneficial part of the mentor program is knowing that I always have someone here in the local area, an experienced pastor that I can go to with questions, with concerns, with ideas.
Having a mentor for me was particularly important at the very beginning of my priesthood. My first pastor died 4 months after I was ordained. My mentor was particularly important for me with regard to being able to talk to somebody who was a pastor, to ask them questions about the parish and about decisions I needed to make.
You're not just working together as mentor and mentee, but also being able to minister together in neighboring parishes in deanery programs as well.
Yes, there's no doubt that we're dealing with the same issues. You know, we have the same concerns, the same challenges.
Just seeing the example of a priest who had been a pastor for a number of years and was still very much in love with the priesthood, striving for holiness, striving to be a good pastor, that would definitely be the greatest benefit that I've gained from the mentor program.
I think where I was most helpful was when he would bring conflict situations or things that he was kind of struggling with, and just to assure him that that's part of being a pastor, and assuring him that he was going the right direction.
Bringing some of these issues to a mentor helps put those experiences in perspective for the newly ordained priest, and they realize that they're not the only ones that have experienced this.
I was put into a position very early on as director of religious education, and so I was already having to make administrative decisions, and I had my own staff, and so my mentor was very helpful in that regard as someone who had a lot of pastoral experience.
The very skills of being mentored are also skills that are helpful in ministering to members of the parish. Skills like listening, being open, learning good communication.
It does have value. It does support a new pastor who can be very lonely out there. The experience of being a mentor with Father Eric, a warm friendship has developed, and you know, we simply communicate on a lot of other levels.
It was helpful just to have my mentor as a sounding board, as somebody that I could just talk to about these different situations and just be reassured that this was part of pastoral life and parish life.
It helped us develop, I think, a stronger fraternal bond in the Presbyterate, because there were the number of newly ordained were now associating in a structured way with the same number of seasoned and older priests, and so it automatically brought the younger and the older priests together in our Presbyterate.
I'm definitely a better priest, a better pastor, especially because of the mentoring program and being able to move through the first years of my pastorate with an experienced pastor at my side. There certainly is a need for valuable mentors and for good mentors. It's a program that helps us as new pastors to recognize that we are not on our own, that we can learn from others, we can go to other priests in our area, in our diocese. The value of having good mentors is an important one for any diocese to have.